Hello, it's Greg Dixon here and Roy Dickan with Total Traffic and Conversion. And today we're going to talk about your business from 30,000 feet. I think all of us, we can get so stuck in the trenches that we don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing or why we're doing it sometimes because we're so wrapped up in the details. So today we're going to talk about stepping back and looking at from 30,000 feet, take a high level view of what we're doing. Like, what are we still doing the things that we wanted to do, want to do? Are we still following a plan? If we had a plan, and if we don't have a plan, then maybe we should think about creating one. And today, Roy, I think you've invited a guest in today, Traden Johnson. Do you want to introduce him, and we'll bring him onto the screen here?
Has he gotten into the back room there?
Yeah, he's in the green room at the moment. So
Okay, great. Well, yes, I met a wonderful gentleman by the name of Traden Johnson, and we met on LinkedIn, and he's going through some changes. He wants to make sure they're all positive changes. And I told him this was a good place for him to meet some other people and kind of talk about what he wants to do. I think he bring his partner with him, his prospective partner?
I haven't seen yet. He'll tell us some more. So
Okay, all right. Let's bring in Traden Johnson.
okay,
There he
Hi,
is. Hey, it's great to see you.
nice to see you, Roy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, but we got some problems with the people that would have joined us from California because
no power, no internet.
they've been having snowstorm after snowstorm and now rainstorms, and now they lost their power. So
Yeah,
Oh man, what part of California?
Monterey.
Oh man, okay. Well, that's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
But yeah,
usually it is.
yeah,
Some
Yeah,
challenges right now.
I appreciate you having me on here. I have given the link to my business partner Daniel Jackson. But if he jumps on or if he has technical difficulties, I'll let you know. But for now, I can, I'm here.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we normally would have more people here, but hey, this is wonderful. I'm glad you were able to join. Have you gotten in touch with Eileen yet at all?
I haven't yet, just because it's been more focused on this, this business with Daniel more than myself getting a job.
I'm
Just-
happy to hear that.
Just after talking to Daniel, and I told Daniel about yourself and what you do and what connections you have with people starting businesses and resources you have, and so he was pretty excited to hear about it and see what it was about. And he said, yeah, I definitely want to hop on that call. And so hopefully he'll be hopping on here soon. So
Hopefully, if he doesn't have internet problems, he'll be here.
yeah.
So what kind of a business are you thinking about starting with him?
So he came to me a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, and he said that he had started an extermination company, where it's kind of a niche market in Salt Lake, Utah area, where a lot of homes are condemned and landlords, homeowners are evicted from their homes, or have to evict tenants, because of either meth use in the home or different things like mold or asbestos, different things like that they have to take care of. They have to take care of the home before it's where it's able to be livable again. And so, where an inspector can come through and check it off and say, okay. And so it provides a definite demand, a need more than a want. And so it's pretty unsaturated. There's about like 5 to 9 businesses, maybe six really good companies that do this in Utah. But the profit margins are very, very, look really quite awesome. and it's helping people get back in their homes. And it's quite a simple business model where, you know, it takes two people who are licensed and registered to get trained and then get the proper equipment, get the proper, you know, chemicals. And you can either hire people out to do it for you, or, you know, do it yourself. And each home, it costs roughly $3,000 to, heck, maybe $15,000, depending on the house. And each county in Salt Lake, or in Utah, you know, there's a number of counties, and in each county there's anywhere from like 18 to 30, 40 homes that are listed on a state website that are homeowners that need this service done.
Wow.
And so that's your lead list right there. And I said, well, I know how to build a sales org, and I could get started right away. And so it's kind of like low hanging fruit. And so that's kind of an opportunity that we're playing around with, but we're just trying to get started. And he just had a baby. I just quit my job. I'm really agile. He's really hungry, and kind of everything's on the line for him. And so we're willing to network and do whatever it takes, you know, to see where this could go.
Well, that is excellent. I love it when you can find a niche that's narrow, like this one is, but also where there's a high demand and you've got a solution. Now, are you talking about doing the inspections and the cleanup?
No, just the company that is there to save the day, there to come in and clean up a person's home to get it so their home passes inspection. And then on top of that, you know, generate enough capital to branch off and do some sister companies, you know, you know, I mentioned that he also has some machines that can turn rooms that have been smoked in and are deemed as smoke rooms. It can turn a smoke room into a non-smoker's room. So for hotels and restaurants, that could be huge. And some other things like that.
This is excellent. And you've got potential collaborators. If you're not going to be doing the inspections, you've got the work that needs to be done after the inspections are made. So there's collaboration opportunities for additional leads that you might not have known about, or that they've already got the connections for, that'll make it easier for you to land the deal. So this is looking like a very good opportunity. Rare in being that good, because most of the time people have a good solution, but they haven't really thought through who they're going to go after as far as, you know, the ideal prospects. And would you say that in most cases, the people that actually want to get those homes straightened out are going to have the finances to be able to do so?
Yeah, you know, majority of the people that it happens to, it happens to a lot of landlords who own the home and are renting it out. And
Oh,
so,
boy.
you know, most of the time when you take a person like that, they have the capital,
Or they can get it. Yeah.
or they can get it. And then if it's someone's actual home, you know, I don't know if it's their home and it's a personal issue. You know, I don't know if that house gets foreclosed on and they get the help they need, or whatever. But eventually someone is going to want that home.
That's right.
It's a valuable home, and someone's going to need eventually to hire someone to, you know, clean up a house. Whether it's been condemned or foreclosed on, it still holds value, and someone will invest the money to get the company to clean it up, which it really doesn't take that long. It takes, you know, less than a day if it's a, you know, a medium sized, smaller sized house. And then if it's a bigger home, of course, it would take more than one day, but it would be a bigger, bill from our company. And of course, we're not looking to rip anyone off. It's just a simple product market fit and being able to help people get back in their homes or get the value of their home back.
So you're saying there are 6 to maybe 9 of these companies that might be able to do this in the whole state, or is this just in your area?
In like the greater Salt Lake area, that's the number. But in the state, I believe there's roughly like 19 companies if you take the whole state of Utah. But just given the city, Salt Lake itself, I myself know a lot of landlords. I know a lot of homeowners, a lot of investors that have commercial real estate properties, a lot of hotel owners, a lot of condo complex owners, and just I feel given the number of people and people I know in my network, I feel like if they know that that's the business, I'm co-ownership in and a part of, and I provide that service, then I feel like I could really put a name out there for myself and for our company. The company's called Genesis, and it's and Daniel, I wish he were on here. He's done a lot of the groundwork to get it just up and moving. And it looks like Daniel might be on here, but Daniel, he truly impressed me when he brought this to me and he told me how much work he's done towards it. And he's even gotten the LLC, as you see, it's Genesis Restoration.
Excellent.
But yeah, he's just one of the hardest workers I know, and he brought this to me, and it just was like an aha moment where it's like, wow, this could really be something.
And you've known him for a while?
Yeah, I've known him for probably 2 years, I would say. But we've gone through a lot together, and he knows how much I care about him and how much I trust him, and I'd do anything for him. And so he's just he's loyal to a fault, really.
Well, that sounds wonderful. So many things about this are right. It's kind of hard for me to believe it won't work.
Yeah, that's what I think. And Daniel can chime in on it at any time, but I know we're looking, for anyone who has advice. Daniel is very teachable, even though he's very knowledgeable himself of what he's doing. But that's kind of where we're at. And I said, hey, let's hop on this call. I met this excellent gentleman named Roy. He helps people individually, and then he helps people if they're starting a business. He's part of this network. So we thought we'd hop on and see what we could learn, what we could get connected with, and if anyone has anything they could share with us or teach us or anything to, what we got to do to just get to be a part of this network.
Is Daniel here, Greg?
Daniel's having trouble getting his camera to work. So,
okay.
But he's here. Maybe I'll get him to to do some chats or something. So
do we need his camera to work to be able to bring him into the conversation?
We could put him on the screen. His microphone seems to work. So we got there.
Sorry, I think it's my browser or some of my security settings that I have on here.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We could just make your face up here. We could imagine it.
Yeah.
I think it would be more valuable
to do that.
He's a good-looking gentleman. He's got nice, long, flowing hair, and he could be a male model.
All
Okay,
right.
there we go.
That doesn't hurt. That certainly doesn't hurt.
So we need the slow motion camera going with the hair blowing.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what my wife likes.
Yeah.
But I think I would just to speak to Daniel, I think what I was saying to him is we're interested in what this network and what this is all about, and what, what can benefit, how we can benefit from this, and how we can help you benefit from us. Just to kind of understand what this is all about, and what the possibilities are.
Well, as far as getting started, because it sounds like you're already on the road, you've already got your LLC, you've already figured out a profitable market, and you already even have it down to specific people that may be very interested in your services. Greg and I both have a lot of experience with startup companies, helping them to grow. I don't want to tell you how many years combined we've got in this. Greg might let that slip sometimes, but
so at least one, right?
We prefer to leave that part out. It's a lot. But yeah, and years ago when we started doing all this kind of stuff separately, because I didn't know Greg until a couple of years ago. But we've been doing this, on our own for many, many, many years before that. But a lot of the companies that we started with really had nothing thought out to the extent you gentlemen have. And yet we've been able to do very well to help them get into business and become profitable. Usually, well, I always looked at as being profitable in your first year is a good thing. Anything beyond that is kind of not a good thing. But it sounds like you guys could bring a whole new look to this thing and become profitable a whole lot more quickly than that, because you've done all the homework. And it sounds like, Daniel, you've been a big reason for this. You've been thinking about this thing yourself. I mean, if you've already got your LLC and you've already kind of figured out, you know what equipment you need and all this kind of stuff. There's been, how many months have you actually been serious about wanting to do this?
Well, I mean, I've been serious about wanting to do this for over 2 years. My business has been active since November. We already have one client, and we're still in the process of procuring some assets and materials for to make these jobs more time and cost effective, so we can offer reasonable rates and still have it be worth our time.
Well, that's fantastic. Most people that get in these situations either don't have the time or don't think they have the time. Anyway, they don't take the time to think it through like you people are. And that puts you above the rest already. And you want to stay there. You want to stay above. So the first thing that, and Greg can tell you what he's been able to do, but in order for somebody to become profitable quickly, I always like them to have a website and a Google business profile. Have you set up a website yet?
I haven't activated it, but I did purchase a domain through GoDaddy, and I was in the process of setting up a Google.
Yeah.
And is it similar to your business name?
GenesisRestoration.com.
Whoa, that's about as similar as you can get. And it's a .com, which is more valuable than any other.
I have definitely put a lot of time, effort, and my own personal investment into this. So,
well, that's great. The other thing that your type of business needs, and quickly, as soon as you're getting ready to take on clients, you want to have a Google business profile. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do, and I think that's a great idea, and I think I'm going to run. I'm going to change my listed company phone number to a Google phone number, so it's easier for me to track calls, clients, and such. And also, there was a business once upon a time called Stockton Maddock Restoration. They've gone out of business since. I do believe the owner went to federal prison, but they used to be the one of the most called upon and best reviewed companies in Salt Lake. And the guy used to make a lot of money. And my twin brother actually did some work with him. So I learned a lot about this particular, I guess, part of the service industry because of that. And then also my family has some rentals, and we ended up having to get one professionally cleaned. And it's, some of the companies out there are just jokes, and they just look to take advantage of people. And I thought that I could start something that was reasonable, fair, and still make a profit.
That's great.
Well, that's really good. Yeah.
So can I ask you a quick question?
You can ask me anything you want.
Do you guys do anything with 501c startups?
I personally don't. Greg, do you have experience in that?
No.
Now, why do you think that would be an advantage, Daniel?
So I have a lot of, I have many goals, lots of irons in the fire. There's other businesses I plan on opening, and I want to, I have some ideas for some potential nonprofit startups. So I was just curious if you guys do anything with those.
Yeah. Well, so go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no, I think Traden asked earlier, I think question was basically, if I understand correctly, was what are we doing with total traffic and conversion? And that might make it easier to understand what we do.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I logged in late, and I got a brand new computer for the company, and I'm still not. I've always used MacBooks, and this is a PC, and so I'm.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, that'll take a little while.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, and I know with myself, my camera, like if I overload the dilithium crystals on my computer, things don't work. So I have to sort of start and reboot sometimes. But anyway, just overall, Roy and I met, what about a year ago now?
I've lost track, but if it's only been a year, it's been a really valuable year.
Yeah. Anyway. So we realized we had a few things in common, and we started doing workshops like this under the banner of total traffic and conversion. And so we're helping people with, like, Roy does the niche domination. I do landing pages and sales pages and video. That's sort of my area, and online courses. And then our other partner who's stuck without electricity and internet, Betty Withrow, is a copywriter and a ghostwriter. So if you need a book written, she can write a book as you, and then she's really an expert at content marketing, and she's very good. She has a process to go through. Going back to our business topic here, is going through a process of determining what people want to do when they grow up, right? So and getting clarification. So with the three of us have started this expanding. So we do, all three of us offer services together, and then we're adding referral partners, people like yourselves, people who come in and you have a specialty offer to do. And so we're just, we all operated as lone wolves before or worked for another company. Right. So right now we're just realizing there's a lot more fun and power into collaborating. So building referral partners. And just along the lines of what you're doing, I have one of my clients is in the real estate business, and what you're doing is pretty much of interest to people in there, because that's a kind of a normal thing. They've got a house that's a little bit in distressed, needs help so they can sell it, right? So, and I went through the process with my mother's condo as well, because it was in rough shape, needed to be fixed up before it could be sold. So anyway, I hope that clarifies a little bit what we're doing with total traffic and conversion. And we're thinking that the more diverse people we have in our group, the more people we can help, more companies we can help. So that's our mission.
And roughly each week, I'm sure you've had more people on the call than today. What would you say is like the biggest call or networking seminar you've had? Or is it more of a one-on-one deal like this?
Yeah, well, generally we do podcast. This is our main one on Fridays, and then sometimes Betty and I will do one on Mondays, and we will generally have a guest, one or two guests to come in and on a specific topic to talk about. And often it's whatever their specialty is. We'll talk to them about their specialty, and our audience is growing. It's relatively small, but we're all involved with a lot of other networking groups and a lot of connections. So that's how you ended up here, really.
Yeah.
due to Roy, and then we were expecting another guest here today, who we met in a networking group in Australia. So we have a lot of connections. Betty especially has a very big Rolodex.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You'll be glad to meet her. But another thing that where there are additional connections that I was telling you about trading my Tuesday night at 5 o'clock my time. So I think that was 3 o'clock your time.
Mm-hmm.
That's on a Tuesday, and that's 20 people ish type of thing, and more diverse types of people. Some of them are into the nonprofits. A couple of them are. So that's a time you may be able to talk directly. And once you meet these people, you just get in touch with them and you talk about that. Now, we also have people that are involved with nonprofits in other countries, like Australia, for example. We have a lot of Australian contacts, but a lot of their principles apply. They know how to go about getting money, getting funds, for example, which is kind of important to know if you're going to go the nonprofit route. So we will be able to have you connect at other times of the week if it's appropriate, and we just know a ton of people over the years. You just meet a lot. Greg knows an awful lot, but Betty, oh my gosh, and she hosts an awful lot of things. I don't know how many things she hosts every week, but it's quite a few. And when she understands what you're looking to do, then her help will be valuable as well. And the things that you might want to do that the three of us can do as a company may save you a lot of time if you've got the funding to outsource some of the stuff you want to do, because we can do it a lot faster than you and make it work a lot better. So you've got that going for you.
Yeah.
And there are other people there was another woman who might have been on the call today, but she wasn't. She's involved with real estate, but in New Jersey. But that doesn't mean she doesn't know people in Utah, for example. So it will allow you to get other opinions and be able to. I think collaboration is just a fantastic thing. It's just changed a lot for me over the last year. And but what I've learned from myself, my experiences, and some of the other people I've collaborated with is nobody wants to figure all this stuff out on their own. They would rather learn from somebody who's already done it. And so all of those availabilities will be there for you too, if they're appropriate for you. But certainly you'll be able to meet a lot of people. I love what you're doing. And are we getting some action from Daniel? I saw something change on his screen there.
He's okay. There we go. He's got a new login here. So I'll take him off here. And then there we go. Oops. And where did he go?
Uh-oh. We lost him altogether.
We lost him. Did I just?
He might be
I
back.
know. Did
I'm here. I just can't get the damn thing to work.
All right,
Okay.
that's all right. That's all right. You'll get it to work another time.
we were momentarily confused here. Anyway,
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. Yeah. Greg and I can be your bridge. Also, if you want to have this thing grow quickly, we can help you do that. And our services are always there because we've done it a number of times. And I've done it a lot of times with startups that were starting from scratch, didn't really have it all thought through, and still did quite well. And I know Greg has been able to do the same thing. So where we can take you is I know how to attract the people you're looking for. Right now, it sounds like you've got enough. You don't even need to worry about that, but you do want to begin to build that.
Yeah.
To put together your concept of using a Google Business Profile in addition to a website, so that people find you that you've never met before, and you will find that other parts of Utah will find you. And so you might end up having to figure out how to branch out even before you saturate the Salt Lake City market.
Yeah.
But
I have a question. Do you guys do like you keep talking about Google and stuff, and I know Google's really good for SEO. So do you do that for people?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's really Roy's specialty, and his niche domination is he's the perfect guy to help you target a specific market like Salt Lake City.
Yeah, what I've done, Daniel, is I've been lucky enough to get involved with Google before they were even profitable. And when they first came out with a thing they called Google Places, which is now Google Business Profile, they asked me to have my clients try it. I thought it was a golden opportunity because I figured they were going to start charging for it. And I thought that they'd get grandfathered in. Well, it turns out they never did charge for it. But what I was able to do for them by building websites that attracted clients was, in one case, triple the amount of people that were finding them each month by combining the two. So it was just one of those things where I really didn't have that intention. But Google wanted me to try it, and I thought it would be good to do what Google wanted in hopes that they would want to help me, which they have. And I've maintained all my relationships. So I've followed Google Places through Google My Business to now Google Business Profile. I probably know it as well as anybody. And this is the best way for a small business that wants to become the authority in a local area to do it. You do it with a combination of your Google Business Profile and your website. All kinds of other things can come into play, and they can help you. Like, for example, you could have a YouTube channel, and you could take videos of yourself doing the jobs and things like that. And that can be valuable, and that can add even more. And then LinkedIn might be a good place for you to be also. And you can tie that in. So now you've got 4 things working together if you go that far. Some people like to tie in Facebook as well.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace.
So then you've got 5 of them. So, and you could do Instagram, and you can do all kinds of things, but you don't want to do more than you can handle, because all of a sudden you're not doing some of the things you want to do well as you could be, because your time is, is maxed out. And when the money is flowing, that's where Greg and I can really help, because we can do a lot of things that you probably would rather not have to do, and don't really have the time to do. So you can specialize on what you really do well, which probably a good percentage of it is talking to the right people and explaining what you can do, and then just getting in there and doing it. So you've got all this. You can start thinking like 10 years down the road if you haven't already, but Daniel, sounds like you might have already anyway. Think about where you want to be then, and then just take it step by step to get there. And with my niche domination that I developed, that's the way I want you to think, whether you use my method or not. I mean, it's the method you should be using to some extent. You need to think 10 years in the future, then peel it back to where you want to be in 5 years, then peel it back to where you want to be in 1 year. And then you concentrate on what it takes to get everything you need to accomplish in that first year. When you do that, you're ready for your second year, and you're working toward your 10-year plan.
So can you elaborate on your methods a little more for me?
Sure. There are a number of things involved. One, you know already your ideal prospect. They're going to be landlords. Probably, I mean, landlords are probably going to be your ideal prospect, but you'll know this better after you've been in business for 3 months or 6 months to really see who is the least trouble and who provides the most profit for you without just an unbelievable amount of work. But it's probably going to be landlords. Because
so from the research that I've done, it's landlords, hotel owners, and potentially some city buildings. Like there's been certain like libraries in Colorado that tested positive for meth use, that they had to hire somebody to come in and decontaminate to get it below the acceptable.
Right, okay,
rating.
so you already know
Maybe college campuses.
You already
Absolutely.
know 3 niches.
Anywhere people live, you're going to find drug use. Statistically, 100% of homes, 100% of residential properties in the state of Utah will test positive for methamphetamine, but it's not considered. It's not considered a positive, or if it's not above the threshold, it's not considered like a failure. Does that make sense? Just because those chemicals are just so like those illicit substances are so predominant in like the construction industry and trade, trade workers and stuff. And so in Utah, I think we're at 1 microgram per 100 centimeters square. Other states are different, which it's kind of unfortunate because it's not even toxic to humans until it's above 10 micrograms per 100 centimeters squared. So I think the local authority having jurisdictions kind of take advantage of the lack of knowledge and research on this particular topic.
Sure.
But that being said, I'll benefit from that as well, though.
Okay, so you've thought through 3 sub niches for your niche already, which is very powerful. So what you would probably want to do, and you'd probably start out with the one you expect to be the most lucrative. And when you set up your website, that's the focus. Then
that's Traden's department.
Okay, and then when you set up the Google Business Profile, that's the focus. And there are certain things you can do with each one, but basically the thing that is best to do is you've got a home page, you've got an about page. Those are very important. But then whatever that main focus is, that becomes a separate page in itself. And then you've also got what I would suggest is you shouldn't be able to do without is a blog page where you can actually have content about whatever it is that you are wanting to offer initially. And you come at it from a lot of different directions. Every one of these pages is going to have content on it, which is the most important thing as far as Google's concerned, to put you on page 1 and to put you in a map, which is what a Google Business Profile will do, because there will be, if you did a map for, I don't know, you'll have to think of this is the fun part. You find the keywords that bring up maps that describe what you want to do, what you want to be able to offer, because those are the keywords that people are going to include in searches when they're looking for somebody like you. They may not know you yet, and that the keywords are so important. They're one of the most important things you can do quickly.
This is something I actually have quite a bit of knowledge about, is how search engine optimization works. I have a little bit of background in computer science and cybersecurity. So
excellent. So part of my niche domination involves search engine optimization. It involves it to the degree you want to show up on page 1 of Google. So you want to optimize the searches that are going to find you.
Absolutely.
And so it right off the bat, that would be one definition of it.
No, this is actually this is a big part of our plan. So this is something I'm very interested in. Please continue.
Well, I've got the plan, and it's been proven by businesses for going on 14 years now. So we've got it down. We know how to do this. But you want to combine the first 2 properties you combine are your website and your Google Business Profile. And if trading, you're going to eventually be able to do this all yourself, then one good way to do it is just take my course on how to do this, because there's no use in paying for anything that you have the time to do and now have the knowledge to do. and my courses are very reasonable. So that way you know exactly how this thing works, and you know exactly what you need to do with a website and what you need to do with a Google Business Profile. And those 2 things are probably all you need for the whole first year. Yeah. Maybe even for longer than that. Yeah. I've got one of the companies, maybe even the first one that I started with, got caught up in 2008, 2009, the banking scandal. And it was people that were building houses, which I was doing at the time too. And all of a sudden, none of the builders could get any financing. So what happened was the people that actually did the work, the plumbers, the roofers, the cabinet installers that used to work for these builders, all of a sudden had to start their own companies because they didn't have any work. And then they could do it as, rehab and helping people, homeowners that had the money, actually acquire their services. And this is how this whole thing started. Well, it started out with just a website, but then shortly thereafter, when Google came to me and said, I've got a property I'd like you to consider your clients using, that's when this whole concept came together. Now, it's been improved for over a decade after that, which is kind of helpful. And it's been proven by company after company, it works as long as you do the work. So for people who can do it themselves, after you learn the method, you don't need me. All you got to do is learn the method. Now, most people will continue to want me to advise them on this and that and other things, but that's a minor detail for the compared to the money that you're going to be bringing in. There are other people that don't want to do any of this stuff or don't want to do some of it, and therefore my company can do it, or Greg can help you do it. And if you don't want to write the content, then Betty is the person that can really help there, because Greg can actually take it beyond what we're even talking about now. And we can get into that at a later time. But basically, once you have the email addresses for all the people that you want to have utilize your services, more than likely, if it's a landlord, they're going to use your services more than once. So you want to stay in touch with them. So what you want to do is you build a client that lasts you a lifetime, or 10 years or 20 years or however long you're going to be in business. And these are the ones where you really make the money. you'll make good money on the first deal, but if you use them again and again and again, and you might even add additional services when you see what else is needed that you didn't do initially. I mean, this is where the majority of the money is made. So we've got all that down. We've been doing it for years. We've got the whole thing from beginning to end to lifetime client, which has a value that you start, it's either in the thousands or the 10,000s or the 100,000s. And you start looking at new clients that way. If you can have them last 4 years, how many thousands, if not over 100,000, are they going to be worth for you? And all of a sudden, it really gets fun taking on a new client. And then you get to pick and choose the ones you really want, because if they're going to be a real pain in the behind, you really probably rather not deal with them. You might in the first few months or 6 months, but after that, you don't want to.
And that's speaking up of my alley with at least my experience with, Greg, I heard you say your experience, of course, in sales. I have, my career has been mainly in sales and in prospecting and developing accounts with business development, and then turning those clients and leads into actual accounts. And then as Roy was speaking about clients, the word accounts came to my mind, and that's where I have a lot of experience in, as I've been an account executive for the last few years, where potentially, Daniel, we could have enterprise level accounts, like even Marriott, could use us all over the country if we were to get that big, and that would be
that's the goal.
Yeah, that would be an enterprise account, and then there's mid-level market, and then there's small to medium business SMB, and so and we could have an office of young salespeople calling on prospects and leads and calling just those lists.
Yeah.
World domination.
Roy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you typically charge to do search engine optimization, digital marketing, or content production for startups?
Well, with what you guys want to do, maybe all you really need is one of my courses, which is less than $2,000, and could be, depending on how little detail you need, it can be as low as a couple $100 to get you going. My typical fee for somebody who wants me as a consultant for each month, and then they stop whenever they don't need me anymore, is under $500 for that. Greg and Betty and I have another type of service where we do an awful lot of this for you, including put up all the content and talk to your customers as if you were talking to them. Betty is excellent at that. And then that's another fee. But you can go all kinds of different ways with this. There's no one way. Yeah. What we do is we figure out what you might need, and we suggest, and Greg is the best one at doing this. He's able to size up what may be valuable to you, and then he prices it out. And if we can come to terms on that's good. If you don't like what he's priced out, we refigure it and try to. In other words, we want to be able to work with you. We want to save you time, and we want you to make as much money as you can, as quick as you can, because the biggest problem with a new company is you don't have enough clients and you're not turning over enough profit, and you just get burned out with all the work that you're trying to do. And that's where, when you need something, those some things are we can put together for you. And there's no use in paying for anything you don't need. So we don't have this take it or leave it thing.
Yeah. What I'm thinking, Roy, is maybe if Daniel and Jaden, if you're interested, we can get together with Roy and Betty and I and the two of you, and we'll have a discovery session and come up with like the grand plan, right? Everything you want to do, and then we can help you. Just sort of, we can see where we can help you with that, or we can help you set you on a direction to do it yourselves. So that's just a free, and this the invitation to all of our listeners too. That's what we do, is we sit down and we talk to people and find out what it is they're doing. And we also, most of our clients usually do, let's say there's 10 things they need to be doing, or maybe 20, and most people can do 2 or 3 of them really well. So we don't offer to do what they already are doing, but we just try to fill in the gaps with things either they haven't thought that they need to do, or they don't have the resources to do it, or don't want to do it. So
Right.
Yeah.
So it's you pick what you want, but basically, once you learn the system, which I would recommend that you do, and you could do that with a course. Once you learn the system, then you can decide what you need after that, and you basically get from us or from anybody we can refer you to what you need, and you do the rest. Eventually, you're going to be able to do all of this yourself, unless you just don't want to have the staff to do it. You don't want to. I mean, it sounds to me like trading. Your expertise is building sales teams, and so you're probably not going to want to mess with creating all kinds of content and all that kind of thing. But then again, maybe you will, because you know exactly how you want to talk to your people, and you want to make sure that what you're saying online is just like what you're saying in person. But anyway, whatever you don't want to do or can't do is available. And Greg and I will put that together. If we don't provide it, we will find the people for you that can provide it.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, what we want you to do is go to these other collaboration groups and meet all kinds of people and get all kinds of other ideas, because you guys are on the verge of something big here. And, we don't want to hold you back. We want to push you forward. And we can't do everything. When you start meeting other people, and maybe they have more ideas than we have for what you need at the time, like maybe you need partners to get this thing all off the ground. That's other people that can help you there. But we can put you in touch with those kind of people, so you can talk to them and see if, that kind of thing is effective. But Greg and I are successful at what we do, and what we do is probably what you need initially to get you off to a good start.
I do have a little experience in content creation and marketing, and as I was asked by a small business owner that owned a small software company to come on and be the marketing manager, and to kind of create content, and to build them a new website, and to figure out where they were strong demographically, what they could do, and then convert that into sales. But I was in college. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in my teaching phase, my learning phase, rather than earning phase. And I needed a mentor. I needed someone like you two to tell me what to do. Where if I was in that position back then, I would be talking to you guys every day at work when I was in that position and in that role. Where now, moving forward and having more experience of sales is definitely in my realm, but marketing and sales ops and building a sales organization and startups has also been included. But I love your resources that you can just help polish the sword and sharpen the sword.
To give you additional background, I used to be the sales manager for a team that sold PCs and local area networks to the federal government. Now, this is many years ago. We're not going to talk about how many, but you can imagine when the federal government was getting off of mainframes and they wanted to start using PCs. That's when I was doing it. So I've got certainly not as up to date a background as you do trading, but I know where you're coming from when you're building sales teams, and I built a darn good one, and we, not only made a lot of money, but we got awards and all kinds of things, which are, we enjoyed all that too. So, but anyway, that little background there for you.
Yeah, but no, very cool, very cool.
But I know I've seen all the accolades you've got, so I know you're quite good at what you do. And but at any rate, I would suggest that you learn how to do all this stuff, so you pick out when you need to outsource and when you don't. And you can do that, by starting with a course. So that should be number one. Then as soon as you want to do number two, Greg will put together the very next thing that you might have the opportunity to do, so that you don't waste your time doing things that aren't the appropriate thing to do right this minute when you're getting this company off and running.
Yeah. That's kind of where, Daniel and I are, where he's a brilliant guy. He'll be humble and tell you he's not, but he's really close to genius level, in my opinion. And I look good, I feel, just on paper, but in person, I feel like there's still so much I have to learn. And I might look impressive, but I still feel like I'm nowhere near my career's potential. I still feel like an infant, honestly, in that phase, and given that context. But definitely, we appreciate being on here and knowing of your resources. And I just wanted Daniel to kind of hear what I heard with you, Roy, when we were on that call. That call with you blew me away, of just how just kind and sincere you were. And then also just the opportunities that you could help us with. But then now meeting you, Greg, it's awesome to know that this is a resource to kind of help us with what you've shared with us on this today. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be here. And I think Daniel and I will probably get together after this call or here in the near future and figure out what the next step would be. And I don't mean to take the lead here, Daniel. You're the guy, but just thinking of utilizing you guys, will definitely be in touch and reaching out. And I don't know if Daniel wants to speak to any of that, but
well, we definitely want you.
We're always available to talk. Yeah.
Oh, we can't talk?
No, I was just sort of saying. Sorry, we're Betty and Roy and I are always available to talk, discuss about whatever it is your next steps are, or just have a conversation. See where, and maybe we could use some of your skills, trading. So with our referral partners.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people I know who have started businesses or who are starting businesses that could definitely be on here. I have a friend who started a company called Dickan, and it's now a very successful company. And then another small business friend who went to Stanford. It's now a successful business.
I think we're starting to have some audio issues, so maybe it's a good time to sign off. Thank you very much for coming, Daniel and Traden.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.